remember correctly from last night, you were lacking heavy modular frames due to concrete, due to rubber, due to water shortage. Yes, that is exactly it. So it's actually worse than, well, that's it, but there's another layer on top of that. So we're not getting our fused modular frames in this factory because we're not getting our heavy modular frames from this factory. And we're not getting our heavy modular frames from this factory because we're not getting our concrete from this factory. And we're not getting our concrete from this factory because we're not getting our rubber from this factory. And we're not getting our rubber from this factory because we're not getting our water from the trains down there, or maybe some fundamental issue with the water in here, perhaps on the third floor. See, all of our debugging in this factory happened on floors 1 and 2 regarding the rocket fuel, and we got it down, and I'm confident that it works. But we really didn't spend any time on the third floor, which takes the polymer resin and some additional oil and makes a crap ton of rubber and plastic. We were getting a crap ton of rubber and plastic out, but am I 100% sure we were getting everything we needed before this train fiasco? No, I'm not. I don't know exactly if everything is working fine or if it's just literally just water trains slowly working their way back up. I don't think the rocket fuel is really the problem. I think it's the plastic and the rubber, and I think it's water. I think it's water to the plastic and the rubber production. That is the issue. The question is it a design problem, which is possible, or is it just a flow problem because of our train issues? Or is it a flow problem as a design problem, right? Like, did the flow never work? Or did the flow work until it was broken, and now that it's fixed, it's on its way to being good again? These are questions that I don't know the answers to yet, but we will figure them out. Yeah, this is not nearly enough oil. Rubber. Right here. Not nearly enough. Chances are I meant to do that. Here's what I hate. I hate the idea that we're blowing this rubber here out our butt, and we need some extra rubber up here. Priority merger, baby. Now we're still going to try to fix things so that this becomes unnecessary. Necessary? It's necessary for me to drink my own urine? No, but I do it anyway. Sterile and I like the taste. All right. Let's see what this does down line here. All right, if and when this backfills, it'll dump there, okay? And it probably will. All right, so that's going to, that is a little bit of a stopgap measure because we were dumping rubber. There's still, I think, an issue with our rubber production overall because we shouldn't have had to do that. You know, would have been nice too down here is maybe a balancer. You know, if I had to design this balanced, that would have been a lot nicer. You know. All right, let's start looking at our water here. Now, I don't like this. I know for a fact that we got these full. So, okay, there's an interesting thing happening here. Let's see if I can pirate software this out. He's a verb now. And it is to use paint to explain something. So how do I illustrate this? How do I illustrate my thoughts on this? So I think we have, let's say floors 1 and 2, and then 3. All right, this is the big dividing line here. We're gonna extrapolate some things that we know on floors 1 and 2. Sorry, 1 and 2. And we're gonna see if we can then learn some things for 3. And the reason that I'm gonna do this is because we've spent a lot of time, way too much time, troubleshooting 1 and 2, and we spent basically a goose egg on troubleshooting 3. Okay. Now, I feel like there's some layers of potential problems. Okay, so here's our layers of problems. Ranked from worst to not as bad. Okay, the very worst that we can have is a factory or a logistics design flaw. And when I say that, I'm talking about this type of stuff. I'm talking about how we route our materials into the blueprinted setups. Okay, and so that's number one. We're gonna call it logistical design flaw. And by the way, this is what I was worried about when we spent all the time working on troubleshooting. The next worst thing that it can be is a delivery design flaw. So think like the train, the setup being incorrect for the delivery of the water from the trains. All right, maybe the pumps are not working. Maybe, I don't know, right? But a design flaw in the delivery system. Okay, and then at the bottom here, we have just not enough water. That's it. And this could just be because our trains broke. This could be because we didn't send enough trains in the first place. And so what had happened, you see what had happened was in floors 1 and 2, I was focused on this and I dipped down to check this a few times, but the entire time, because I thought for sure it wasn't something as simple as this, not enough water. I had forgotten a third train. That's it. I forgot the third train. Now, did I maybe fix some logistical design flaws and some delivery design flaws along the way? Were those the friends that we made along the way? Maybe. But really, it ended up being not enough water. And so I don't want to repeat my mistake. I don't want to assume that there is one of these problems or one of these problems for the third floor when it may just be this. Now, it's not the same exact problem, but it manifests itself in the same way. And that is, I think we have we'll double check, but I think we have 3 trains enough in the not enough water arena. So maybe it's just we aren't getting the water because our train system shut down for so long because we had that error that we fixed yesterday. And maybe we haven't had enough time for the system to set itself right. Or maybe we need to do a partial shutdown or something like that. But in the end, is it just not enough water? Now, I am very confident that there are no logistical design flaws and there are no delivery design flaws that exist on floors 1 and 2 because we got this perfectly working. 100% it worked. I guarantee that now there may be some design flaws, but there isn't a design flaw that causes the factory to not work at 100% efficiency because we got it to work for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Okay, so there is not this or this. Okay, there could be this. There probably is. And so we don't know if there are these over in floor 3. However, I can tell you this, if we see the same symptom in floors 1 and 2 that we see in floor 3, then it leads me to believe they both have the same problem. If 1 and 2 were working perfectly, then I would say that all 3 of these checked, right? And if floors 1 and 2 are getting enough water, then floor 3 is getting enough water because they work on essentially the same system. That means that the problem in floor 3 has to be one of these 2. However, if this is not working, and this is not working, then maybe these are okay and we just don't know it yet. At the very least, before we can even check this, we have to fix this. And maybe fixing that is just waiting. Maybe. Does that make sense? So let's check and see if the symptoms are the same for floors 1 and 2 as they are for floors 3. And spoiler alert, they are. It's low water in these tanks. This is too low. This needs to be up much higher. Remember, we are pumping in more water than we need. These are all low. I don't like this. I truly think we're not getting enough water. Now, there's a possibility that there is a delivery design flaw on the feed from the trains to the floor 3. It's possible because we didn't really debug that, or we didn't really check it. But until floors 1 and 2 get enough water, I'm not going to start debugging this shit, because it could just mean that floor 3 is not getting enough water. Now, if floors 1 and 2 start to get enough water and they start to work perfectly again, and we're still having problems over here, then this will be checked off. And then what we will do is we will check this one. And then if we are confident that this works, then we'll get into the nasty. I'm tempted, and I was tempted last night to jump right into the nasty, okay, to start working on this. But that may not even be the problem. However, I did find one actual flaw that I know is a flaw, that is an objective flaw. And so I think we could maybe address that and then wait on the rest. And it is this pipe here. I made a mistake somewhere. This was an ad. Pretend this is not here. Basically, do you see how this pipe drops into there? It's supposed to be a refiller. Look, it just drops into there. There's no water gets fed to this so that it can refill the loop down here. So it needs to, and I don't know where his water is supposed to come from. So I think we have too much water. We may have too much water in a different part of the factory and not enough water there. Now this one's getting water, and see, that's why I stole him and dropped him in. But I feel like maybe there is a broader issue. But see, the thing is these should be full, right? If one part of the factory, this is way too empty. See, so even now, where I recognize that that's a flaw, it's really nearly impossible to debug, because let's say that these machines were not getting enough water over here because I over-routed pipes to some other part of the factory and we didn't route enough water to this corner of the factory. Well, then one of these fluid buffers would be completely empty, and the other, and maybe a couple others would be completely full, right? Because in theory, this factory is getting enough water, but maybe I distributed it wrongly, or incorrectly. But I can't even, and then what would that do? That would give me an indication, like if these three were packed full and the rest of these were medium, the way they should be, and then this one's empty. Well, that's easy. That means I took these water and I, you know, I have too much going to that part of the factory, and I just got to reroute maybe one of these full boys to the area that is being covered by the one that's low. But that's not what we're seeing. All of these are low, all of them. And this is a huge cause for concern for me because we're not getting the rubber and plastic out that we need. And so, by the way, I want to do this. Let's do this right now. Oh, we do have a polymer resin. There's no polymer resin in here. Okay, and so no polymer resin means that this isn't backed up. So we have a water shortage, but it's not egregious enough to not be using all of our resin. So anyway, that's my thought process on this debugging. I thought about it all day, basically, in the back of my mind. Could more pumps help? I don't see how. And by the way, more pumps, where does that fall? And I want to use this. Where does more pumps fall? That falls in the delivery design flaw. Okay, how we're getting water into the factory. And then logistics is once it's in the factory, how is it getting shared to the machines? Okay, yeah, maybe we rebuild this whole system because there's a problem. I don't think we need to do that. But does more pumps help? Just adding more pumps? No, I don't think it does, unless there's a bugged pump. But if there's a bug pump, then I would want to just replace it. So I see no version of reality where just adding more pumps will help. Because remember, these pumps, they go in 50-meter chunkies. Okay, so this is 38. 38 plus 12 is way down here. Look at how much extra head lift that group has. I am very, very careful to provide overlapping head lifts, and because I don't want to ever, you know, and this isn't that far either. I mean, we'll check. Let's check. Maybe I'm wrong, you know, and you know, stranger things have happened. Where's 50? I admit this one's a little closer. That's a little closer. But if that were the problem, then all of these would be empty, but this one would be full. But these are all full. Now, the fact that these are all full does kind of tell me that maybe if these are all full down here, but these are not full up there, then this does sort of indicate to me that there may be some problem between these and those up there. Maybe. But let's take a look at this. Okay, so I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Where's our trains? Now, our whole train stuff was balanced and it was working, and then I broke the trains twice. How full is the pipe that directly feeds in the fluid buffers? I'll go look, the ones up top. Let's see. Fluid transfer. The wind, they really went from checking aluminum to checking everything. Yes, well, I mean, the knee bone's connected to the hip bone here, guys. So the aluminum, again, the aluminum is not, fused modular frames in the aluminum factory are not getting built because heavy modular frames in the heavy modular frame factory is not getting built because concrete's not getting built in the shard because rubber is not getting built in here. Okay, so that's where we're at with this. I refuse to store liquid at the point because the instability. Well, you have to store liquid here. You have to store liquid right out the train. You have to, or it won't work. You have to do it the same way that you have to store items like this. You have to be able to do two belts into one. or 2 pipes into one. See what we're doing here is 2 pipes here and here into 1 pipe. You need these. I don't see how you can possibly do fluid trains without them. These should be feeding. See, look at this flow rate. Why? I don't like this. It says 600. That says 0. Why in the crap does this say 0? Is it just bugged? Like, is the indicator just bugged? See, it's little things like this that make me nervous. You know, how can this flow at 600? Which it's not, by the way. If this is 0. Now these are empty. Okay, all right, these are empty. These were full, guys. Now the train is here. I think we're just not getting enough water up here. Honestly, I think that's what it is. I think we are solidly, very solidly here. Well, really, I think we're here. I do not want to start working on these 2 parts of the logistical network until I'm confident that we're getting enough water again. Now, we were getting plenty of water. Because the pipe with the most heavy lift always has the highest priority over the other. Yeah, I don't think I have sloshing. I don't have any of that stuff. I think it's much more simple. We're not getting the water. The trains are not delivering the water fast enough. And there's a tendency, especially when we debug by committee, that everybody tells me, and it's fine because I welcome it, but just be aware, everybody tells me the things that they have found in their factories, and that's human nature. Most of the time, I've already checked those things off, or I do things in such a way where that thing that you're suggesting as a problem can't be a problem. Now, I said most of the time. There's always, you know, exceptions and issues. But until these stay full, I'm very nervous changing anything because I could break something. I could make something worse. When in reality, maybe it's just the same old problem. So let's take a look, and maybe there's some issue with our trains somewhere. Why is our flow? Because our flow was good. Now I have an idea. Are we perhaps not getting full trains of water? Okay, let's see if I can get here before he lands. Is this somehow not full? Okay, no, these are full. These are full. These are not full. No, that's the platform. I want to look at the car, you dingleberry. Where else could be a slowdown? This junction down here could be a slowdown. Can't really see it. Oh, there's no... Yeah, this train is backed up. Is he causing another train to be backed up? Not yet. So I don't like this. I think it's more likely that, and by the way, we could have two problems. We could have a problem, hold on. We could have a problem here, or we could have a problem here, and we could have a problem here. But we cannot begin to debug this problem until we fix this problem. We have to make sure we're getting enough water before we think that there is any chance of fixing a problem here or here. Yeah, I don't do a lot of merging like that, guys. For that very reason. This is very simple here. These are being shared, but okay, that's empty. These are full. This isn't full. Okay, so that train just left. What's his settings? Or 90 seconds. It's fully unloaded or 90 seconds. It's good that nobody's... I'm back and forth. I honestly believe that I probably should just let this run for a little bit longer. That's kind of where I'm at with this. This is jammed. And then we have bonus reservoir here. By the way, I still don't like this. This zero flow here. I think it's got to be a bug because this is cruising at 600, right? This is banging away at 600. How the hell is that banging away at 600? How is this one at 600? And this one's at 600. And yet this one's at 0? I mean, obviously there's a bug. There has to be a bug. Where's the water coming from that flows through here? Okay, so it makes me nervous when I see stuff like this, because I depend on stuff like this to debug. Same thing's happening here. So something's happening on the backside of this pipe junction that is not happy. Same thing here. It's at least it's consistent. At least it's consistent. So I'll give it that. Obviously this is working. So the fact that it says 0 really means nothing. Hey, thank you for the raid. I didn't hear that sound. Hold on. Something muted with my new setup? No, I should have. I turn it up a little bit for myself. I don't know why I didn't hear that. Thank you for the raid. Cars are only 600, platforms are 24. That is true. That is true. You're also fighting gravity, so maybe doubling up. No, it's 50. It's 50. I think that's a tangent, Grill Sergeant. I don't think doubling up your pumps does anything. But the cars being 1600, that is true. So, you know, we could run some timing here. I mean, we're kind of doing it now. We could do an official time on this water and make sure that we're getting enough, right? Because in theory, okay, each train cars are only 1600. All right, so we're getting 3 cars. Okay, 3 times 1600 divided by 600. So we need to make a full rotation every 8 minutes. If we don't have a full rotation, if train 1 isn't back in 8 minutes, we've got a problem because we can't sustain 600. And you know what, guys? Here's the deal. Here's what's interesting. What has to exist? Remember what this water's doing. Now he is in time. Let's see what number he is. Perfect. He's number 1. What does it take to be number 1? He's number 1. Let's start the timer right now. Where's my freaking phone? Let me start a stopwatch right now. All right, stopwatch is started. We need to be able to supply. Oh, what was I? I was making a point. What is this water doing? This water is essentially doing one thing. It's doing 2 things, but it's mostly, yeah, it's doing 2 things. One more than the other, but it's doing 2 things. Actually, it is just doing one thing. Which one is it? I can't remember which one of the 2 it's doing. Here, rocket fuel. Is this our boy? Nope. No. It's not that one either. Where's our actual rocket fuel? It's not that one. It's not that one. It is this one. It is this one. So fuel. $6,800. Okay, so some of our water, the water that we're looking at, it's going into the fuel that is making this. Okay, so what happens? Getting our oil. Here's a bunch more water here too, doing the polymer resin. Yeah, some of the polymer resin. Okay, so if floors 1 and 2 that make the rocket fuel and use up the fuel to do so and kick back a bunch of polymer resin, if the rocket fuel is broken, what happened? I don't get to use this anymore, I guess. If the rocket fuel is broken, then it's not making enough polymer resin and it's not using all the water. And so we only really just fixed the rocket fuel. And so this polymer resin only really finished being made. Everything's all messed up. Right here, this polymer resin. And so which train is this? It's number 2. 4 minutes in. So until floors 1 and 2 that create the rocket fuel, until we know that those are working perfectly and they're producing all of the polymer resin that they should as a byproduct, that's what uses up all the water. And so maybe it looked like we had enough water for all this time, but we actually didn't, because we weren't actually using all the water until we fixed the rocket fuel that provided all the polymer resin. And now we're being tested. Okay, now we're like, okay, we're finally getting all the polymer resin that we need, but you can't keep up. This is probably number 3. It is. We're at 5 minutes. No water is leaving on this train. Okay, the oil seems to be doing great. We're at 6 minutes and 10 minutes. 6:10. We need to see rocket fuel 8-1 again in the next minute. Or just fundamentally speaking, we're not bringing enough water, which would mean we'd have to bring a 4th train, which would suck. I'm really worried about jamming all these trains in here. But I mean, there's space. I think there's some things that we can do to help this train network up here. We talked about them last stream. So, okay. I wonder if maybe it's because your stations are emptying. If you're pulling a full 600 line, I find if my buffers start to empty, I can sometimes cause a blurb. Well, sure. I think maybe I'm not getting enough water. That's why we're testing this. By the way, we're at 7:15 and that's not the right train. I think you're right. Some things take real long time to fully manifold. Yeah, this looks exactly like my problem I had with things. My setup was extremely simple compared to yours. Guys, I think, is this it? We're at 7 minutes and 30 seconds. That's not even it. We need a 4th train. We're just not getting enough water. I think all the cars are full. I can check the other down there for sure. I want to see where we end up being. We're at 8 minutes right now, guys. So while 3 trains seemed like enough for hours and hours and hours and hours, it looks like when things are actually at 100%, and by the way, maybe it's close, but we had so much bonus water in the system that it just slowly lost. Because remember, we pre-pumped and pre-filled everything before we turned it on. So imagine like there's this huge reservoir of extra water in the system, right? Like you've got this huge reservoir of water and it's up here. but you know, inputting and outputting is a little bit off, and maybe it's only off by, you know, a little bit. So this may take days to empty. Plus, what happened? I broke the train system. So whatever reservoir we had, boom, disappeared. And now we cannot fill the reservoir back up of water sitting in our station. He's finally here. 9 minutes and 9 minutes and 20 seconds. So that's an extra. Let's do some math here, okay? So we need 600 times 9.33333. 20 seconds out of a minute, okay? That's what we need. Minus 3 times, what did we say, 1600? How much fluid is in these? I can't remember. Yeah, we're short. We need another train. I think it's this. I think we have... Now, there still may be a problem here. But I think that definitively speaking, we're not getting enough water. We need another train. 3 is not enough. Okay, we are running the F out of water. These are full for now. We're running out. Now, I wonder if there's something that is causing a slow that maybe can be fixed. See, I'm wondering if there's a couple of things that we can do that will maybe speed everybody up without adding more trains to the system. Right? There's more than one way to solve this. Any way to add cars to the shortest of them? Just add a little bit more water into the system and share it. It's possible. We could make the 8 a 9. We could make the 8 a 9. Pretty easily, actually. That's a good solution. No. So I don't think it's actually that much of a headache, guys. Look, maybe it is. We're just not getting enough water up here. The trains are not taking enough water. So what could we do? We can't add another one here because we're at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'd have to add, make it an 8 or something. This, we can make this 8 and 9. Easy. These are full, dude. I don't need to do it. Is this empty? It's almost full. I'm going to go down there, but that's not the issue. I assumed that they were full. Even if they're full, they're not getting enough water. We have to fix that first. Okay? We needed train 1 to return within 8 minutes. Okay, this is the kind of level of debugging that I want to communicate to you guys. Now, look, you guys can do whatever you want. I'm going to do. This is an order of operation thing. This happens all the time in the stream, and it's fine. But like, certain people get like a bug in their brain about like, oh, it has to be this thing over here. And my point is like, okay, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I know we have to fix this other thing first. And so why go and fix problem F when we know that problem A has to be fixed first? We know it has to be. So fix that first. Okay, otherwise you run around like a chicken with your head cut off instead of working through the problem. We know that these trains are not arriving fast enough. That's a fact. Okay, and so what I want to do is I want to see if we can get them to arrive faster or bring a little bit more water with them. Okay. And by the way, when I do that, I will go down there and we can check it when we go down there. Okay. I don't want to go down there now when we're not ready to go down there yet. Personally, when you have to debug, you just leave it like this and stop caring. No. We're going to get this right. Right. This is the hard part of this. This whole process is half the fun of the game, though. I can see how having an audience like chat throwing us what ifs can make it a little more complex. No, I don't mind it, guys. Don't like. I look. Sometimes I let frustration creep into my voice. It's rarely with you guys, unless your name is Oki Sooner or Eye in the Sky. Now this I don't like. This is bad. This makes me irked. Oh, this is oil. That's okay. Why is this oil here? Can you tell me why this oil is leaving? You know why. It's leaving because we're not getting enough water to process the oil fast enough. Can't confirm running around with a chicken with your head cut off works less well the larger your system gets. Right. Okay, so let's walk through this, okay? Let's get off of Paint. Let's get into Excel, where I do better. You might even say Excel. So rocket fuel. We're going to go. Nope, sorry, I went the wrong way. A little more. We need enough. Try to be more precise than water. Fluid cars to arrive to cover 600 times pipe number. They're not arriving fast enough. I see two ways to solve this, and I want to do them both. Speed up train travel time and add extra car to existing trains. I do not want to add a third train to the circuit. I do not want to do this. Why don't I want to do this? I don't want to do this because it will create more traffic, and traffic slows shit down. Okay? What I want to do is solve the problem without adding more traffic. Now, adding one extra car to the back of a train will, in a way, slow things down, but not nearly as much. If you overclock a generator, it does not become less efficient. Overclocking your generators is the one place that you can overclock with no costs. Yeah. Now, once we do this, we need to check to make sure all cars are getting filled. We have to make sure that our capacity to deliver water is fixed before we check to see if we are meeting that capacity. Why check to make sure that the cars are getting filled when we may be adding more cars and we may be speeding up their arrival time? This is a perfect example of a check that is out of order. We have to do this first, then that second. All right, if we reverse this, if we did this first and that second, we check to make sure all cars are getting filled. And then we go, our capacity to deliver the water is too low. Guess what the hell we're gonna have to do? We're gonna have to redo this. We're gonna have to do it twice. So instead, set our capacity, get our capacity to deliver water up, and then we'll make sure that we are meeting that capacity. Does that make sense? And sometimes, guys, some of the stuff is like kind of in the back of my brain, and I can't always explain why I'm doing things the way that I'm doing them. And I probably sound like a dick when I say like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do what you say, because it is running counter to kind of my intuition on how to solve this. And so it's actually really helpful to me to try to distill that intuition down into into words for myself and for you guys. I'm happy to do that. I think this solves our problem, to be honest with you. 3. And then right, and so we can start to this will start to tell us where more issues may arise, because let's say the lower water storages stay nice and full and they stay fat for like 8 minutes. Well, but the uppers don't stay full and fat. Well, this means that there's a pump problem between the two, right? Somebody was suggesting earlier, put more pumps in. Well, that's between 2, 3, and 4. How do we know that there's a pump problem if we don't know that we're like, why would I ever in a million years check the pumps if I don't know for sure that we're not getting enough water in the first place? And I can't make sure that we're not getting enough water in the tanks that we have until I make sure that we're not getting enough tanks to begin with. Do you see where I'm kind of going with this? And then once the upper storage, and then we start to make sure, check to see if all machines are getting water. Okay, and so this kind of 1 and 2, let's do a split screen here. One and 2 exist I would say 1 and 2 and 3 exist in not enough water. 4, check to make sure the upper water storage is never empties. That's here. And then check to see if all machines are getting water. That's here. To be fair, you know, actually, I would say actually 3 and 4 are here. Okay, 1 and 2, are we getting enough water up into this basement floor? Three and 4, make sure that water from the basement floor is making it into the factory correctly. 5, make sure once it's in the factory, it's getting distributed correctly. And I can tell you this, when I was debugging the first and second floors, I did all this shit backwards. I did it backwards. And it's one of the reasons why I'm going to be doing it this way. All right, so what can we do? What can we do? What are some of our options here on speed up train travel time? Well, I think a big one is we fix some of these tracks. Our trains are getting slowed down here repeatedly. I hate path signals. I hate them. I like to design in a way that doesn't need them. So we're going to do our first design. We're gonna create some flyovers so we can get rid of some of these pass signals. Speed some shit up. One more. And then we're going to get rid of this path signal, because look, every train has to slow down when it gets next to the gets next to the thing here. So we're going to stick with blocks. Do I think this is enough to cut 1 minute off of all of our trains? Probably not. Probably not. But I want to do this anyway. Oh, you dog. Okay. It's a mistake on my part. Yeah, let's do a rebuild on this. It's gonna mess my trains up even more here, but you guys gonna work? It's not right. Hey, there he is. All right, there we go. I like it. A little bit of a wide curve there, but I'm okay with it. All right, let's get rid of the paths. We don't need any more paths now, because this is a merge. A block is going to work just fine. And a path causes everybody to slow down. All right, here's a test. Yep, a block worked just fine. And look, That would have been a bit of a nasty piece of work, those three going through the same time. Let's cut him in half too. Okay. Okay, let me catch up on chat. We got over 100 viewers on YouTube. Welcome, guys. Sorry, I was really focused on building that without messing up my train line. So I stopped reading chat for a second. That happens. My dumbass would check the nitrogen. Win 1 million, Ken. 1 million what? I started playing this game and just got to oil, and I've created a giant mess of spaghetti conveyor belts and machines. Hey, man, you know, play your game your way. That's disgusting. That's also disgusting. Everything's backwards. That up there is disgusting. These trains here, I don't like this. Just trying to think if there's a better way to do this. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. I think the fluid cars are, we should focus on the fluid car problem. Hey, George. Yeah, I usually don't make junctions that require them. I like the flyovers so that I never have to deal with them. And I'm considering making another one here. It is a little more complicated because we have this part, this happening here. So much goes through here, guys. I think it makes sense to do a flyover here as well. But who flies over who? That's what I'm trying to decide right now. And I think I know the answer. He's already up. I think we keep him up and we cut this. No train from up here will ever have to go over there, ever. It has to go to the bauxite, and it will have to go up there. So I think we keep him up. I think we cut this. Yeah, I know what we're doing. Who'd we break? We broke something somewhere. Joe S2K, greetings from Canada. Keep up your good work. Your Cyber City is sick. I love your videos. Thank you. I think I know who we broke. We have to fix who we broke. Let's make sure that doesn't happen while we work again before we do anything else. I'm afraid. That's a cool train spiral. Is that the first time you've seen the train spiral? You've been here a bunch. You haven't seen this? I think I broke this here. I'm afraid this network is broken. And it needs to be reset by hand. I broke somebody somewhere. That actually looks okay. Don't we have to reset it? Yeah, I gave you a jump scare. Sorry, guys. I should have told everybody. I was freaking out for my own part. I should have been very clear with everybody that that was my fuse blown and not yours. It's like when you're watching a streamer and their Discord dings. My fault. I'm afraid we blew the fuse. There's a couple of places we could have blown it. I'm afraid we blew it over at the Tyrell Corp. Is it here? I think this is probably still okay. Yeah, I'm afraid I blew it at the Tyrell Corp. This power is all good. I was gonna catch a ride. But no ride is coming. All right. Watch this come out of the mist. Oh, I love this building. Yeah, not exactly vanilla. Not exactly. What other fuse could I have blown, you guys? It's when I disconnected the train. I was worried it was here. I don't know. Are there any instances where you hear the fuse blown sound and you don't actually have to go fix something? Makes me nervous to think about. I'm on a wild goose chase here. How many hours? 787. I can't think of anywhere else I blew a fuse. What about the blue? Those would be red. What about Blue Crater? All right, let's bust over to Blue Crater and make sure, because if that happened to blow, I don't see how it could have. But let's just pop over there and let's just make sure. And then we can get back to work. I accidentally cut the wrong thing and it's bad news bears. And then we kind of got away from what we were trying to do. The trains are backed up. Damn it. It's bad. Aren't you going? You're holding up the whole process, bro. Stage unreachable. It's because I built this over here. I was in the middle of a damn project. All right. Working on these train lines live is not live like with you guys, but I mean with trains on them is disconcerting. I was gonna do my flyover and I broke this. It's you. So many problems. There's my path in. There's a block out I'm missing. Is it this? Is it this? I'm like halfway done. What if we just bust this out really quickly? And not try to quickly. 7. Who's in the middle? 4. Out 3. Out here. Come back here. Okay. All right. All blocks, all paths go away now. We got to get your ass out of the way. Then we can delete that line. That's the problem child line. Now, nobody likes paths because we're not complete, so no path and no path and no path. Now you're a block. We good? No errors? Yep, because you're a path. Get your ass out of here. You're a block now. Gone, 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 gone. Gone. Okay, now you are gonna come across here. Then you're gonna drop. Now, what's your effing problem? You are nobody's friend anymore. Nobody likes you. Okay. Oh, and then while you're driving by, can we debug you? Yes. Okay, we are cooking with gas. We are fixing problems. We're making them worse, but then we're making them better. I haven't read chat in a bit. I'm sorry. I'll catch up here in a sec. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling like I've got a little bit of control over the situation now. Okay. Stream rename idea, freaking up everything and then trying to fix it. Well, I mean, I'm in a constant state of that. That's literally the name of my, that's more like a channel rename. It's more like a channel rename idea than a stream rename change idea. All right, let's get these out of here. Not that, don't be dumb. I'm still a little nervous about what fuse I flipped, you guys. I'm a little bit nervous about that. I don't know exactly what fuse I flipped. There could be some problem somewhere. All right, now this setup is way, way, way more efficient because we have no path signals. I've designed around the need for them. Hey, how am I? I'm a little stressed. I, you know, broke my shit a couple times here. But we're looking better. I have an idea about this too. Well, still have a problem with trains. When you say still, I don't know exactly what you mean because we, you know, a lot of things have changed over time. I am working on trains now, but I don't know when you saw me work on them last, if that makes sense. So I don't know if it's still. I am constantly trying to make my train setups more efficient. And we're not quite getting enough trains for a water setup that we have. So I'm trying to chill your shit, bro. Okay. I'm putting in some bypasses. The pass signals did work. They did. But I think with these flyovers, we're much more likely to get the results that we want. Long term. Because we keep getting these moments in time where shit shuts down. And I would rather not have that. Now we don't need the paths. Okay. We bypass, we fly over, we avoid crossing the tracks on top of each other. And now this train can get over and around this kerfluffle. These kind of got jacked up because of my train issue. Come on, get out. Clear the road. All right, now that one's gonna wait for 90 seconds. So these guys will start to separate from each other correctly. At least I think I put that in. Didn't I put that in? Oh, the Bauxite train station? Yeah, no worries. I did. Okay, so that'll work. We've moved on from fixing aluminum only to looking at the entire city holistically. And there was a fundamental flaw with the amount of water that we're receiving at our power plant. We're not making enough rubber. Not enough rubber in the power plant means not enough concrete in the shard. That means not enough concrete in the shard means not enough heavy modular frames in the steel factory. Not enough heavy modular frames in the steel factory means not enough fused modular frames in the aluminum factory. And that's how we got here. Okay. I would like to add an extra water. I would like to bring up one extra water. We can do it with this guy. Let's do it. I think this is him. When he gets past us, we'll do surgery. All right, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna bring up an extra tank of water that theoretically we don't need, but in a way that we do because we're not getting our trains here fast enough. So the trains that do get here, we're gonna bring some bonus water. That means you've got to go, sir. Okay. You're gonna go on this end here. I want everybody to get a piece. I don't know the best way to do that yet. Actually, I don't think he goes here. I think he goes here. We gotta jump the streams here. Let's see. What's the best way to do this? Probably go down, to be honest. Not quite, huh? Not quite. That's better. Guys, I'm gonna use a floor hole. I'm gonna use a pipe floor hole right now. Write it on your calendar. That's still jank. There we go. Okay. All right, now what do we have to do? Now we have to start catching these trains. Gotcha. All right, that's one. We need that 3 times. All right, so we're gonna add the train cars, and then we got to go downstairs and we got to put in the new set of water. All right. That's a fake floor hole. I know. I think so. I think it's going to be easy. Everybody will be shuffled forward. It'll still be better than adding an entirely new train. Yeah, use fake floor holes. All right, hey Benjamin. I wasn't even really seeing your chat. I'm sorry. I'm so out of it. Anyway, I was on Prime Day. I don't do backseat gaming, but there are places to go you haven't been yet. If you're talking to me, I apologize. I've been kind of brain dead working on this. And I missed some chat, so I apologize. Why are you still talking? Somebody not empty? Should be okay. I don't know. I don't know. We're gonna have to time the trains again, and we can run the math. We got one more train to add an extra car to, and we'll go down to the blue crater and we'll add the extra loading. You're just talking shop about the new power. I saw that, but I didn't get to say hi to Benjamin. Flensburg. We had a guy at one of my dad's construction sites. Me and my brother, we'd work with him. There was two guys actually. One of them, can't remember one of the Joker's name. But he would always call the other guy, his name was Benjamin. And he'd go, Benji. And now our entire adult lives, my brother and I will be, anytime somebody's name is Benjamin, we'll go, Benji. All right. All right, that's the last one. It'd be good to know that you didn't have to run further down your debug list. I know. I'd like to know that. So let's pop down here, and we do have a little launcher for ourselves, a little poor man's launcher, and let's add that, and then we can do some checking, make sure that everybody's getting loaded correctly. There's no train backups. At least that we can see. So I'm wondering, we're gonna have to move this forward. I wonder if this is gonna mess up all the trains that are supposed to go here, even if we rename it. Like, is renaming enough when there's a train somewhere that is supposed to go to this? If I rename it exactly this, is it enough for it to do what it needs to do? Well, we're gonna find the F out. F around and find out, boys. All right. Do we have any trains that have a warning sign? RF Water 82. He's coming down the hill. We're gonna see if he loads here. No, he's not coming down the hill. Okay, here's our off water 81. He is. Are you stuck? I'd like to see him start moving. Yep. It's gone. It's just going in a circle. All right, we got to redo them. Okay, we changed number 1. All right, where's 2 and 3? Two is stuck in there. There he is. He's moving down the line. We're gonna try to catch him. That's not him. Patrick, first time playing Satisfactory. Any recommendations on how to plan trains? Well, it's funny that that's what I'm working on right now. I want to do modular factories and bring resources in from all over the map. That's a lot of what I'm doing for sure. Patrick, it seems that's not what we want. It seems Satisfactory is a game that no matter how well you set it up, you're going to learn something in the future that you should have, and then you had to redo everything you did. Yeah, number one recommendation is just start doing it. Just start doing it. There are some natural places for train lines for sure. I'm realizing that I should have made train loops instead of a single rail track because two-way train tracks are, no, yes. Don't, so that for sure. Do not do push-pulls. Don't do push-pulls. Here's our boy. That's not our boy. I don't know what happened. Let's go fix the other one. We fixed number one, and number two is stuck up here. They're gonna keep returning home to base camp here, so we better just stay here. I bet you they've already caused a pile up. Yep, they certainly have. We're gonna fix you. I can fix you. Yeah, there have been very few instances where I've done a push-pull. Hold on. Ooh, it's 9 now, but I'm not going to worry about that. Why aren't you moving? Okay. We got to spread these trains out a little bit. We let them bunch up because I made these changes. Then we got to go back down and we got to actually fill the damn new car with water. We haven't done that yet. I just want all this for a minute. Let me catch up on chat while I do that. Is that one too long now? Marcus, did you say that when I was down in the blue crater? Because yes, it was until I extended it. I don't know if that was 90 seconds. I think this is set. Let's head back down and let's fill that new car. And then after that, I want to do a timing run. see how much, if any, we improved our round trip time. All right, let's do a timing. And I got the phone. We're gonna time it, and then we're gonna run math. We can work on the math a little bit while we're timing. I'll hit the timer as soon as this light goes green. Come on, buddy. We need a train. Okay, started. What number are we? We're now number 1. Okay, that is set to ore. Timer's still going. We're at 40 seconds. Okay, so we need 10,800 per minute. Once we get the timing, should be number 2. It is. Once we get our timing of our round trip, we know that we're delivering 3 times this. Here, let's 10,800. Okay, time, trip time. We'll calculate it in seconds, or percentages of a minute is fine. And then total cars in trip. We know this. That's 19. Total delivered. Car volume. We're at 3 minutes, by the way. $1,600. Total delivered per trip. Really? Just checking, I heard a train. We're only at 4.5 minutes. That would be amazing. We still have to get through train 3 and then we get train 1. So total delivered per trip. And then total delivered per minute. And that's just going to be this divided by 0. This divided by 0. Let's say it was 8 minutes. Doesn't seem right. I have to think about that. Something's wrong with that math. I think this is nope, nobody's in there. It's been 5.5 minutes. What's wrong with my math? Something's wrong. Oh, times 3. It's times 3. Trains per trip. 3. Okay. And then shortfall would be this minus this. I bet you this is train 3, RF83. He's not our boy. That is RF83. We need RF81. We are at 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Insert. Where's my conditional formatting? I love my Excel and it's greater than 0. It's red. It's less than 0. It's green. We want red, boys. A negative shortfall is a surplus. I've had to change him twice. Train's here. We're at 8 minutes. This piece of crap threw off my thing. I was trying to get him out of the way. So it threw it off. Technically speaking, it is 8.5 minutes, but our trip timer got messed up. 8.5 is barely short. Okay, we're gonna be fine. We're okay. 8.2, we're green. 8.4, we're green. Okay, we're right in there with the extra car. If I take this back down to 18, look at that. So this extra car spread across everybody, okay, at 8.5, we would have been 600 short a minute. All right, and we sped it. I think we did speed things up, but the extra train car is really going to be the key there. And we reduced variance. Even if we didn't necessarily speed it up, we reduced the variance. There is something wrong with the setting, though, of that guy that I want to fix. How is our water now? You let me in. Mikey. Oil's full. We're still empty, but that's a little more full. We don't have any polymer resin in there, so that's good. Those are filling up. That's good. It's good that those are filling. That's very, very good. Okay, that's gonna cause, we still may have, okay, so because those are filling, let's go back to what I've talked about now probably 2 hours ago. But look, we're green. Look, we're back to green. Okay. Okay. That's, see, I was thinking that with the filling. All right, so it's been a while. There's probably a lot of new people watching. We were not sure if this was the case. Let's walk through this a little bit, okay? Floors 1 and 2 are on the left. Floor 3 is on the right. We know that there's a problem on floor 3 because we're not getting the rubber that we need. Floor 3 gives us rubber and plastic. Floors 1 and 2 give us the rocket fuel. We worked extremely hard to make sure that 1 and 2 worked perfectly. And at a certain point, we knew that they were getting enough water. We know for a fact that the logistics design flaw, there is none. There's no logistics design flaw because at one point, all three of these were solid. Now, not getting enough water, I broke the trains for a little while, and it wasn't getting enough water, and so it wasn't working because it wasn't getting enough water. Now it's working. We know that it wasn't getting enough water because now it's working, and I didn't change these other two things. I didn't change how the water is delivered up into the factory from the train and how the water is distributed out to the machines once it's in the factory. Neither of those two things changed, and yet now it is working again at 100% efficiency. That means that the only thing that was broken, it just wasn't getting enough water because the trains were broken. Okay. Now this is getting enough water, and if this guy's getting enough water, it's going to mean that these guys are also getting enough water. Okay, and that means we can finally check off this. As long as, I guess we can't quite check it off, but I think we should be able to. And the reason is because these guys were broken because the trains were shut down for a while. Because this is for floors 1 and 2. This is for rubber and plastic, and I think this is for well, rubber and plastic. It's both. It's both. And so if this is up and running again and it's working, then I bet you these are as well. And we built an extra water supply so that everybody shares. Now that's packed. That's packed. Another train is here. I feel really good. I feel really good.